So to say that I just love my William Optics GT81 would pretty much be an understatement. And I've been in search of the ultimate telescope for me and what I like to do, a combination of electronic assisted astronomy, doing the easy images, learning the processes, maybe getting into a mono camera soon and things like that. But I've just went through a couple comparison things that I've seen here that really affirmed just how great of a purchase my William Optics GT81 along with the Flat 61A version 3 field flattener really was. Let's take a look at it here online and let's talk about it a second. So this here is the Skywatcher Esprit 100. It's an ED triplet apo refractor. $3,200 in today's money. Not sure how much this was maybe 6 months ago before all the supply chain issues hit our pricing. But this comes with a field flattener and I'm not sure what all accessories it comes with, but you know, you're guaranteed that you're going to have to pack a little bit more money into it. Now it is a 100mm refractor, so you know, that's why you're paying a lot more money for it, of course. But if we take a look at my Gran Turismo here, 81mm, fantastic quality. Love it. Some of the things like the focusing batting off mask, don't really use that. Don't really need to with Nina and autofocusing and everything. You need to add another $218 to that to get the appropriate field flattener that works for it. And, you know, these field flatteners are always a gamble because so many different people sell them and you just don't know what you're going to get with this. But let me show you what you are going to get with this. Now I have been battling forever to get flat fields. I mean, between the Rasa and now working with the C6 Hyperstar, you know, it's annoying. And I know some people really don't care. They don't like the pixel peep, but you know, we paid a lot of money for this equipment. And if there's a way to get 100% of my image and have it look great, then that is the way I want it. So this data set right here, I've got two different data sets, this one, and then of course we've got mine underneath here, right here. Obviously different scales. This was shot with a 100mm Esprit and a 268 sensor. So this data comes from a pretty popular fellow, and we're not going to really discuss the fellow or talk anything bad about him, but I just want to look and compare the images because I've ran through this processing course that I paid for and was pretty, you know, pleased with it, and it's taught me a lot, but I really never bothered to kind of look at things. And I was just kind of looking at this image actually last night, and I was looking up here and comparing, you know, the signal, because I mean, first of all, you compare this image, you know, just look at the signal here, you know, that's built into here. And I don't know exactly how many hours are built into this time, but I only have 2 hours and 45 minutes into this. And this is straight out of integration. I actually just did some steps wrong and forgot some rejection and stuff. So you can see some satellite streaks and everything else like that. But look at the detail that is in this image here off of this William Optics and a 183 camera. Now I know the smaller pixels are going to resolve a little bit better detail, but you know, this is pretty impressive. Now the most impressive part is, you know, let's pixel peep. Let's go to the corners. And I mean, I've got like a slight stretch going on here that I could definitely improve upon. I literally have just taken this thing off the mount and put it back on. And when I took these images, it was not dialed perfectly in per se. So I probably could tweak that reducer a little bit and get this perfectly flat. I've got examples of it being perfectly flat. But now let's look at this, which this is a huge crop frame sensor, but I am not going to go that far in. We're going to go right in here into the center of the image and look at the star shapes from the Esprit and this adapter. I mean, this is a telescope that's twice the amount of money. And I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse the farther you get. And it's obviously a spacing issue with the reducer, which is fine, but you know, I don't really know if you can do anything as far as just adjusting it or what. And it's not like horrible, but my biggest point is just how impressed I am that I am able to maintain a flatter field. Granted, it is a smaller sensor, and resolve the amazing amount of detail. This is going to turn into a beautiful image. We're less than 3 hours of integration on a color camera, which I'm going to add a lot more to it, of course, to make it look better. Compared to this, which, you know, this is probably $6,000 to $7,000 worth of gear or more versus my, you know, 4 to 5, 3 to 4, you know, with the mount, everything else like that. So just another hat, you know, just another tip of the hat to William Optics and this GT81, just how impressed I am with it. I really don't know if I will ever look at another manufacturer for telescopes again. My next purchase would probably have to be a larger William Optics telescope, because this is just fantastic in my opinion. Compared, I mean, this is just great compared to what we were looking at before. So what do you guys think? Are you having that much success with your William Optics telescope? I see a lot of your pictures on there. Redcat 51, 71, I see how beautiful those are, and I also see how beautiful these are from the GT series, the Fluorostar series. Just spectacular, speechless basically, how awesome they are. So I really don't see another reason why I would not recommend somebody to go this route. I really don't even see a whole lot of reason to spend the extra money on the larger, on the 100mm. I mean, of course you're going to gain a little bit of focal length, but man, you know, this is hard to beat. Look at the detail that you're getting here, guys, especially with an old generation 183 camera. You know, hopefully we get some new generation sensors coming out in the next year or so that will have these nice small pixel sizes, less noise, less amp glow, a little bit cleaner, kind of like the 2600 sensors or the 533, which is the same sensors, just cut down. So it's a great time to be in astrophotography, that is for sure. So hope you guys like this little comparison. So we'll talk to you later. Peace.